Hi. Give me a second to find this. I'm going to be talking about Atlantis today. Give me a sec to do my usual find it. Good morning. Give people a second to find me. Good morning. I'm going to be talking about Atlantis and past life stuff today. We're going to kind of switch gears. I kind of like to switch around. Hi, Alyssa. Good morning. I'm giving it a second till people find us. But I want to talk a little bit more about Atlantis because it's very relevant to what we're all doing here. It's probably everything I'm interested in my everyday life, right? So I'll give it a second so people can find me. I just posted this out. Good morning, Cam. We're going to be talking Atlantis in a second. I was watching some spirit science cartoons yesterday again, right? I put them on the wall. And then I have been off grade from retrograde pretty much, which I know isn't so great, right? Not a good idea. So I'm back, but I was all like last night and evening I was like just kind of chilling by myself, meditating, downloading a lot of stuff about Atlantis for us so I can get back on video. I probably should have made a list. I was thinking last night, right? Maybe I should start making lists with these downloads so I don't forget information, but at any rate, it has been loaded into my subconscious. I did put out a calling for certain information I wanted. I need information, right? That is something easy to attain around here with this ascension. So give it one more sec so people can find us. I just posted this out. All right, I'll start out with, so I was one of those weird kids. Probably, right? Weird starseed kids coming to this planet. Okay, so I remember, I grew up around a lot of water as a kid. Probably it's why I picked, the family I did, right? I spent a lot of time in tropical places with beautiful beaches and water, and my family was really big on like snorkeling and scuba diving. I have memories from where I was just like snorkeling over some reefs, and I couldn't even begin to tell you the panic feeling I felt. Right? I couldn't even begin to tell you this panic feeling I felt, and I couldn't do it. I also was taken underwater in the Caribbean to scuba dive, and everyone else loved it. I didn't even make it off the beach, just underwater, and being able to breathe with this stuff on, it pretty much gave me like an instant panic attack. I couldn't do it. I also came here with a very serious fear of the dark. And when I was a little kid, if you would, turn out the lights and lock me in a room, I would freak out. Like, these were like crazy fears that I came into this life with. I was never afraid of the water. I was always around it, but I definitely had this fear of drowning, being out in deep areas of the water, and certain things with it. So I came here with these weird phobias as a kid. Now they make a lot of sense to me because I'm doing a lot with my own journey with retrieving some of these memories from past places that I lived so I can better understand my journey now. Alright, I'm going to start and talk about Atlantis the best that I can. I guess I have a lot of information to put in this video. We'll start out with the Emerald City. I put a post up yesterday. The Emerald City would have been the heart of Atlantis. The first two pictures I put up in the post were from Atlantis. The other two were from the Wizard of Oz movie. If you look at the photos, they look identical to how Atlantis would have looked. So we see this Wizard of Oz movie. Unfortunately, I don't remember it. I was talking to my husband about it last night. Follow the yellow brick road, as in follow the Illuminati programming. But they have the Emerald City, and then the only thing that we were talking about that we could remember was a wizard behind a screen, I believe. And it's very symbolic of Atlantis, because during these times, this is where things began to really change on this planet. This was a place that was of a very high level of consciousness. Everyone is on a serious ego trip right now, thinking that this is it, we've ascended, these are our abilities, this is where we're at, we're done, right? And you need to understand that When we lived in Atlantis, we had abilities that people couldn't even dream of here. Things like telekinesis, manipulating matter, objects, right? Amazing abilities. This was a place at very, very high frequencies, high levels of consciousness. I want to talk a little bit about, I guess, my past life memories and why I have that fear and why everyone is, in a minute, all they had to do is put on some terrorist attack on the news or some kind of news story and everyone starts to freak out like it's end times. We all might die. The thing is, we've died so many times. This would have been different though. We died so many times. You've been stabbed, shot with arrows, killed, probably burned. You've been killed in every manner possibly, probably. We've seen the end and death so many times, but this was the first time that we saw it together as a collective. The Atlantean collective saw an end times disaster type of problem. We talk about the fall and what led up to it, aside from the power struggles that we saw that were no different than what's going on today. It was an imbalance. It was an imbalance of the collective, and it's scary to people because we see that same imbalance now. And Atlantis had to sink in order for that imbalance with the earth to be corrected in some type of way. When the earth becomes unbalanced, it tends to create more natural disasters and things like that. So we see these same imbalances now. There was a lot of hope. There were people just like today that were doing shitty things here, like, altering DNA. They tried to replicate spiritual technology. They could not activate their Merkabahs. They figure we'll just build one. Just like today, right? We see that happening now, though, with a lot of things, right? We can't open these portholes. We'll just build CERN. There was a lot of genetic manipulation going on. People being shut down to bodies that were prisons that they could not spiritually evolve in. So we had a lot of negative things that were occurring that just seem about the same as they are today, right? Technology being used for the negative, people following the paths of power, and things like that. It was pretty much just like the same that I see now. But during these times, we were doing the same thing we would have been doing here. Just ignore it. Focus on the good. Everything's gonna go okay. There was a lot of hope. There was a lot of, we thought we could use our abilities to stop this, that we had amazing, like I said, spiritual abilities, spiritual technology, and things like that. And there was so much hope right up until the end. And a lot of people saw a death that would have been almost biblical, right? I think that they stole the 3 days of darkness in the Bible too from Atlantis. I really do. This would have been a time when the entire earth was shaking, a pole shift of sorts. And it would have been a time where, tidal waves and a lot of people saw the end by drowning. So of all of the times that we experienced the end, this would have been very traumatic for us. It would have been like the ultimate doomsday scenario. That we're all like, oh my god, every time someone sees an asteroid coming close to Earth, we're like, oh fuck, right? So we've been programmed in such a way. The collective fell at that point. Now, I have people hitting my inbox this morning, talking to me. I haven't even had my coffee, right? And they're talking to me about reptilian consciousness and things like that. So I think I'll try to throw that in here too. Well, what really happened to this planet? Well, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that extraterrestrial races have always been here with us from the beginning of time. But there was, through our own councils, there was an agreement that the Orion group could come to this planet to do what they're doing, to create a circumstance in which the souls on this planet could evolve and grow rapidly. We're talking about, being from the state of consciousness of Atlantis and falling to like caveman, ice age type status again and having to start over with humanity. So if we had the right, dualistic type of conditions, our souls would evolve much more rapidly. This was an agreement that we agreed to through our councils of light, but clearly things kind of got out of hand here with it, right? It was meant to be a balance, right? It was never meant to come out of balance in such a way with it too. Good morning, we're talking Atlantis. I have a lot of shit to put in this video, I don't even know how. I'm gonna try the best I can, right? Just kind of all over the place. That's how the universe works with me, though. Alright, this is like a redo from Atlantis. This is our redo, right here, now, present day. Like, what are we all doing here? It took us to get to this point where we could tune into our abilities again. The planets were at way too low of a frequency this entire cycle for humanity to even be, you know, on the right frequencies to be once again creating our reality, harnessing the elements, healing again, and things like that. So as the frequencies are going up, it's changing the energetic dynamics. I'm going to try to throw a little energy thing in here too, because, you know, we talk about the event, right? The event. When is it? I'm going to say March 21st. Many of you have already experienced this event. With these waves of energy that are being sent to this planet incoming, one of these waves of energy could give you an event type experience, because it could be so profound for you energetically. Once you have experienced that, you're going to be coming into focus with a unified consciousness. You're never going to lose yourself, like Francisco, I heard him saying that on video, but you're going to come back to oneness, to this unified consciousness where you're all kind of in perfect alignment and perfect sync with the universe on so many levels. It's what we've been working for since Atlantis to get back to. Hi Holly, we're talking Atlantis, destruction, you know, end times programming. That's why the Bible is such effective programming. We were talking about the Bible today. I'm gonna go get the, hold on, I got it. Alright, does this guy look familiar? Right? Does this guy look familiar? He kind of looks like Egyptian Ra to me. Bird gods, right? Bird gods. We'll talk bird gods for a second. Bird gods. Do you have a dollar bill that is American? I know that we have come so far from worshiping the same Egyptian gods, but pull out your American dollar bill. You'll notice the bird god on there too. The Roman version. So you can see where all of this galactic wisdom, right? Because we have, what is consciousness, right? What is the information that we're channeling nowadays? A lot of it is very galactic. All of the information that built the spiritual and the technological on Atlantis was galactic. So we see that throughout history. You can see this knowledge it didn't get lost with Atlantis, right? It just moved and switched locales a lot of the time through the ascended masters that taught from these places and went other places on the planet. We can see that Atlantean culture is everywhere. It's what built Egypt. It's what built a lot of these native type of cultures, druids, things like that. The Masonic organizations, the Templars, things like that. They say they got their knowledge from Atlantis. Good morning. We're going to talk, I think, aliens now. So I did talk about a reptilian consciousness that was allowed to come merge with us and learn with us to speed up this process of spiritual evolution, right? But then I'm thinking this morning of this guy hitting my inbox telling me that reptilian entities are shapeshifting into his friends and families around him to target him. I was thinking this morning, though I didn't tell this kid this, right? But I was thinking this morning, I mean, how else would he be waking up and learning how to navigate the spiritual in such a way if he didn't have these crazy kind of spiritual experiences that were having a very real effect on him? Alright, so Atlantis, let me think what else, right? Give me a sec to download and readjust. Alright, so Atlantis was very built on the Law of One. I'm not talking about the 80s channeled version that you can get on Amazon. I'm talking about the actual Law of One, that we are from one source. We are one despite all the differences. If you would have had my life, you would be the same as me. You would have responded probably in exactly the same way. So, you know, they really, you have to remember that. So these ascended masters from Atlantean times went to Egypt to teach. They were regarded as gods, and they did their usual, what they do in the Matrix. They built entire religions based on these ascended masters' teachers. Let's look at Thoth, Ra, Isis, Osiris, right? They're gods, they're deities. These would have been ascended master teachers from Atlantis, right? You see they popped up back throughout time, and they're in many of these stories. Apparently, Thoth made some entrance with the native cultures as well, right? So we see that these faces have resurfaced. I want to talk about the aging process in Atlantis real quick. Because of the high frequencies and the mastery over their abilities, they could stay youthful for hundreds of years easily. That they could easily manipulate their frequency so that they could achieve high enough frequencies to stop the aging process. I think it's very important the age that we were when we chose to wake up to. In the aging process, just from me doing this ascension and observing, observing this purge of humanity, right? I'm assisting with it. I think that age is very important in the aging process. There's a lot of, information to suggest that during Atlantean times that whatever age you were when you woke up, that's the age that you would end your aging process in so many ways. A lot of people around here are seeing that if you're taking the chlorella, you could be aging backwards. LJ was huge in Atlantis, right? This was a place that was one with the sea. This was a place where, like, I had a very real past life as a mermaid one time. We joke about it because I'm always in the soul bath, right? All the time, and we joke about it. But people don't understand that we've had many different forms of consciousness getting our soul to where it needs to be. And that was a very real scenario, that there were mer people in these places too. Oh, I cut my hair and I hate it. Good morning. I just realized afterwards that they don't know inches here. Yeah, I gotta convert to the metric system, which I don't know either, right? Whenever I have to buy something, I always get the wrong size. Like, it'll say how big an object is, and I'll have no idea here. Yeah, I'll be working on learning the metric system next. Odd couple. Things out of place. You feel like you're shifting? We're for sure shifting into Mercury retrograde. Everyone's already crying about it, including myself, but we're gearing up for 3 more retrogrades to slam this planet, starting with April. So this has taken us since Atlantis to get to a place where humans could be able to tune into source again, be able to be a high enough frequency to be consciously aware of this stuff, so on and so forth. This has been a long time in the making since Atlantis. The extraterrestrials that were assisting during Atlantis have never left. They're still here, assisting in a different way. They couldn't, as I said, since these teachers were regarded as gods and like whole religions were made off of them, and I'm not talking Jesus because that was Horus that they made the whole religion off of, and it worked so good for enslaving Egypt they brought it to Rome. Same gods, different names, right? You see that throughout time with the Greeks and the Romans. So, they created a whole religion on it. So, these beings, our star family, decided that we couldn't make a good influence from the outside in. Yeah, like landing here, trying to teach, right, and trying to do things that way, it wasn't really making the right kind of influence. It was making things worse, although not intended. So that's why you see suddenly all of these star seeds that are incarnating into this planet, because we can make a much better change from the inside out too. But these beings have never left. You see the same ones throughout time, right? In America, so we can get the map out and we can see Thoth has made appearances in Atlantis, which would have been by America, right? We made appearances in Egypt, probably Eastern countries, right? And then we see that, oh my God, Ra is in the Americas, thousands of years later. These were beings that transcended, the cycle of rebirth and death. They were able to keep the physical form and make an ascension. Alright, I don't want to disappoint you guys, but if you have not ascended yet, as in you're still here talking to me, then congratulations. We started another 25,000 year cycle. And we are staying to assist, I assume. So, congratulations, right? We're actually in the next cycle. People aren't realizing that as we're talking about these cycles completing and coming to an end. We've actually entered a brand new cycle energetically. And you can really tell how the energies are changing, too. So what's happening? We're getting ready for the spring equinox. That was huge in these cultures. I've been putting a lot of Egypt stuff up, but I said we don't have a good record of Atlantis because a lot of it comes from channelings, and I'm iffy about that. I'm iffy with these channels, right? Picky. Alright, so we don't want, but we do have a lot of historical record of Egypt and other places. And like I said, places like Tibet were built on these Atlantean practices and these spiritual practices in these places. So we do have good historical record from other ancient places in the world that give us a really good historical perspective of Atlantis and the things being taught. It might be taking your body a couple days to adjust right now. The energy's going to start flowing on all new levels. Sorry, it's spring. Time to get creative. The universe is sick of doing the, what do they call it, winter hibernation? The universe is sick of it and wants to flow and move, and some people might feel like everything's crashing in. Don't worry, we're crashing into everyone else. If you feel like your world's crashing in, it's aligning in other places. So I said this time, like before the equinox, I describe it as the crumbling. We are in the crumbling, leaving the underworld. And so, you know, we're still doing a good cleansing of our subconscious programming, the things not working out. So many people are trying to hang on to their toxic relationships and blah, 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 toxic behavior, things like that. Things like pharmaceuticals, alcohol, meat, toxic relationships are going to become so toxic for your soul that you're not going to be able to, you know, hang on to those kind of bad habits that we picked up in this matrix. Those are the things we need to ditch to liberate our soul. I always say relationships can be worse than the drugs. We need to do a good inventory of what is keeping us enslaved on this planet. A lot of times it's the people around us, I say. It could be our shit behaviors, you know, addictions, attachments. Any kind of addiction is an attachment. Ready for spring. Let's get outside already. I'm ready for the rocks. I'm done working too. I'm just like... Oh, I'm making some memes. Like, I needed to find the one that we used to have. I saw this a few years ago where it was like you can't take the whole week off work for Mercury retrograde. Well, I almost did. Then I'm like, oh fuck. Okay, so here's what I'm doing in my life. I'm going to Stonehenge. I need to take a vacation anyway. I know this isn't it. I need to take a vacation, so after the rocks, I'll do my usual take a few day vacation. Well, I have this class that I'm about to get certified to teach in, and it's like 40 hours of training, and it's doing past life regression hypnosis. Yeah, I want to know about Atlantis. Perfect. I'll need you guys to assist. We want to talk about Atlantis. I think we might need to start doing some past life regressions like the real professional way. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'm really, really excited about it because I just kind of got led into it yesterday. And I was doing training for it all day, right? Yesterday. And it's everything that I'm into, right? Digging around ourselves in the Akashic. Every time I did try to go look for a couple of videos, I put some spirit science cartoons up on this wall that are really good. I like those. But every time I go to try to find a video, even like these expert people that, you know, they've been doing this forever, and they're like, you know, they investigate Egypt or whatever they do, and I try to watch these videos, and I literally never learn anything that I didn't already know. So if you go on Google, be prepared to not really learn anything. We know everything we need to about these places. We hold them with ourselves. You already know who you are, what star race you're from, what you're doing here better than anyone else would. Hi Bethany, shout out. Okay, let me think what else. So every time I talk pole shift, everyone freaks out like it's end times. We have the end times Bible scenario where it's going to be doomsday and revelations, and this stuff is very scary to us on a soul level because, you know, we saw that what can happen here. We need to understand everyone has free will to do what they want here. Yeah, there's karmic laws, but a lot of people are doing what they want. And we need to understand that, you know, what one person's actions are affecting everyone around here. And we're seeing the same kind of situations play out. And that's why we chose to come to this point in time to wake up so that we could change things from here. We were on the same course of destruction. We were in Atlantean times. Don't think we wouldn't end up there if we didn't shift the world to love and healing. Alright, not only do we need to be on high frequency, we need to be on love frequencies. Love, that's where you're going to find this life force energy. Where there is love, I say. We need to be on love frequencies. We need to set that with ourselves before we can do it with another. We need to master unconditional love. That means like we're always working towards like in a year I'll be this person. In a year I'll be like this. You need to be content and in love with yourself now. I realized I'm dating myself at some point. I told we were laughing about it in our admin chat. We said we're just dating ourselves. Like, I'm picturing myself like going to travel like on a romantic getaway to Machu Picchu with myself, like up on the mountain all by myself, right? All by myself. I'm dating myself, right? So I think people need to really learn how to master being with themselves and dating themselves, and they're always trying to have another person make them happy on some level around here. I think it's amazing all the people finding their twin flames around here. But you need to remember you're one with everyone, not just one person you've ever met. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the natures of reality. I'm going to fit it in this feed anyway. Alright, so we think that we're living on this round globe. This is what I got taught in elementary school. And everyone is having the same experience here. So I'm going to talk a little bit about dynamics of people. I am living with a projector in my house. And it would be like I have on those Google virtual reality headset, and so does he. And we're in the same game, right? You think we're in the same video game here in our school. But no, I can be in the same house with someone living in them, and I'm going to be having my own universe, my own perception of everything, right? And so, you know, everyone's talking about like thinking they're going to lose their family members and everyone around them, not realizing that you could be living in two separate universes with the people you're living in, children included. So if those people are not choosing to detox, purify, live in love, and do what they need to do this ascension path, they're not going to be able to tune into your perspective, your dimension, where you're at with things. We need to realize that. I could be at a coffee shop here in the UK. I'm going to go out to coffee later. We'll pretend I'm at a coffee shop and I'm having my tea or whatever. And a woman walks by me, okay? Her entire fucking world could be burning down, hell, brimstone, literally, hell, brimstone, on fucking fire central. And she might not even notice me, and I wouldn't even see it where I am. I would not see her, what is going on in her reality, in her world. It could look totally different than mine. I'm only going to see my perspective, my reality, my world. I could be sitting here high vibe, and this person's entire fucking world could be hell, literally, on earth. So we know that heaven and hell are states of consciousness, places that we can create here. I've seen hell on earth. I came here as a manifesting generator with a powerful mind. I'm like something Gabrielle talks about with himself, where he was in our admin chat talking about how he has to be very careful with his thoughts and with his energy when it comes to other people. So I got fear programmed like you wouldn't believe. I got taught I was worthless, I was never doing anything, right? Killed all my dreams. I got fear programmed, and so what did I do? I became an adult, and I went out there and just started to create every one of my worst fears. That is part of the process. I was explaining to Sherry, I really faced my fears head on, and we all did. We had to face our fears on literal levels this life in order to get to this place where we're meant to be fearless. Like, you already saw everything you are terrified of on a soul subconscious level, and you conquered these things, because we're here talking about it. People don't realize that. Good morning. We're talking about reality. So everyone always just thinks, right? I ask my guides, because I don't feel like working till the rocks anyway, right? I don't feel like working till the rocks anyway, so I asked my guides. I'm already getting killed this week with upgrades, because you know I can't do that kind of stuff at the rocks, right? I gotta be like working good. So damn have I been going through some upgrades this week. So I'm already getting killed with my ascension process anyway, so I'm like, hey, why don't you guys turn the energy up on this planet? Now would be a really good time to just blast this planet with like 3 extra waves, by the way. Just blast this planet. Just do it. Just turn up the ascension energy. We're already doing it. We're already getting kicked around with retrograde, right? This will be a really good time. So get ready for some intense incoming energies with this equinox. We're gonna, like I said, have 3 more retrogrades back to back. January, February, March. So the effects of the eclipses will wear off about the end of March, and we'll have some new energy dynamics. So you can feel the energy is changing. Yeah, it's about to get intense. More water, more self-care, more salt baths, more unplugging. Mercury retrograde should be turning you inward. I don't feel like talking to people. I've been off grid, except for my website, and I'll do my videos today, right? Then I'll go disappear and go off grid. And so it should be, you know, encouraging you to meditate more, to spend more time downloading, just more time alone. Please don't change your relationship status during retrograde. If you even met someone within the past month, it's not going to work out. Just do the right thing and move on. It is not a good time to be dating during Mercury retrograde. It's an awful time to travel. Our whole admin team will be traveling this Mercury retrograde. We think it will make the rocks an interesting dynamic for us. We're all going to be traveling. It's not a good time to travel though during retrogrades, because like when I flew over here during the craziest space storm I've ever been in, my airplane was like Final Destination. They said Final Destination when we were taking off till. They said the words. It was like the movie, like where they have the premonitions and the plane bursts into flames and everything. And when I was in the air, the airbags came down, like there was a lot of turbulence, right? There's a lot of turbulence, the airbags came down and everyone was like panicked, and I loved it. And I loved it. It was like the craziest ride. Talk about jumping timelines. They're all, Allie and Francisco and Mitch are gonna have to fly over to the UK during that crazy space storm energy. It'll be a ride and a half. So, you know, I don't travel during space storms, but I will be this next storm, but it's a really bad time to travel. If you want to talk about, you know, the dynamics of the earth and magnetics and how these energies are changing, you know, the dynamics of the earth, and so it can be kind of crazy. They probably have the most plane crashes during the space storms, just to tell you guys, because it can shut down the entire plane's, like, you know, systems. So it'll give them an extra thrill. So try not to travel. If you're going to be traveling during retrograde, it can be extra chaotic. You could be having like your plane shut down and all the electronics die and you could crash. We see a lot of internet problems, account issues. Facebook will start to have issues, I'm sure. So we're going on a roller coaster ride. It's about to take off. 4 days before. Let's get the calendar out. I'll tell you when the roller coaster. We are boarded the roller coaster, waiting for it to depart. We have boarded the roller coaster. All right, so the 17th. So you guys have like a week to rest. I always say, all right. You guys have about a week to rest. It might not feel like that. Expect some incoming waves during that week. So usually you get a whole week off and you can rest and integrate, but you don't get a week off anymore, starting with January. So now we get blasted with extra energy on our break. So a lot of people, it might be taking your body a minute to catch up. How's everyone doing with the energy? I had to get on here. I didn't want to. Like I said, I'm trying to avoid everyone. I had to get on here though. Alright, we'll go back to the Emerald City real quick. I love it because it reminds me of the heart chakra. It would have been the center of Atlantis, the heart of Atlantis. And, you know, we think of the heart chakra of green frequencies. And I always talk about that inner city. The inner city, not just the Emerald City in the middle, but it would have been the inner city was walled off. And that's why I love these Stonehenge stones, because they're mixed with this crystalline compound. And the only places I ever heard of them using a crystalline compound to build their buildings was Atlantis. That these were places that were built with so much crystal technology. They didn't just have crystal technology, they had pyramid technology. I have an actual one memory, I don't remember Lemuria, but I have one memory from there where it was by the water and we had these big crystals. I mean, they were like giant crystals and they were in the beach. And we would put energy in them, and if someone was sick or needed healed or just had a bad day, they could go to those giant crystal transmitters for energy. And I really look at they look just like the Stonehenge structures, some of the, or more like Avesbury, the structure of them, the ones from Lemuria. These were energy generators. They would use crystal technology, and you need to remember Atlantis, during Atlantean times, that was when these crystalline grids were built, and the other structures as well came out of Atlantis. So the beings from Atlantis taught these civilizations how to build. We're going to teach you how to rebuild Atlantis, right? So we can see a lot of these civilizations almost were trying to rebuild Atlantis. They were trying to take Egypt back to the law of one and live in harmony and in a utopia. And it was always kind of the goal around here. So they would use these crystals on Atlantis and other places as giant energy conductors. They were powerful in healing, bringing up the frequencies of the entire area. So now the vibrations have changed on the planet. We haven't been in a fourth dimensional level of consciousness like Egypt, right? We fell to 3D. And so those pyramids stopped working. But at one point in time, when Egypt was thriving, those pyramids would have been powerful in bringing up the frequency for everyone that lived in the area or was near them. And same with Atlantis, they had pyramids in Atlantis. People don't realize that. They had pyramids in America with the natives. So we're going to get into that next time. We're going to talk about pyramids in Americas, right? They have pyramids all over the world. These were considered civilizations that they worshiped the pyramid gods, they call it, the sun gods. Right? They all worship the sun gods. The Mayans, the pyramids, the Stonehenge, right? It was all centered around the equinox, things like that. So they have pyramids there too. These were powerful in keeping the frequencies up. I always talk about in Atlantis, the main area, that if you were not of a high enough frequency, you wouldn't be able to enter. It would make you sick, I'm sure. Like, it would repel you, the frequency. It would be so high vibe that your body couldn't handle it and wouldn't want to be near there. So while most people lived in the inner city area, the people that did were of a very high frequency, and anyone else lived outside of the main city, inside of more like, you would call them more like country towns, right? Countries or towns you'd call them nowadays, areas outside of there. So the people that lived inside of the city of Atlantis were of a very high frequency. Like I said, they could manipulate things such as the aging process. That's what I'm trying to do too, right? They can do things like manipulate the solar plexus. I think it's very interesting that the solar plexus is actually connected with our aging process. And that in order to do these, I do them too, reverse aging kind of activations, that you're going to focus on the solar plexus. That's interesting to me because we see that empathy, narcissist kind of dynamic, right? Like we're a reptilian, empath, narcissist, right? We see this kind of dynamic going on. And so many people in these groups are working on that solar plexus. You can tell from our body graphs, which I'm going to go into again too. I came back with some more info on that. I'll be getting live on that this week or next week. So you can see so many people are working on that one chakra too, where the empaths were taking in all this energy and things like that. They understood energy on levels we couldn't even comprehend right now. We're just getting back to our abilities. Like, people don't understand. We're going to be continuing to go up in frequency, and we're going to get to that place where it is like Atlantis. And as long as we're using our abilities for service to other purposes and can, tune into them again and access them, we're going to be able to do like the most amazing things. We're learning how to manipulate matter with our thoughts and our minds to navigate this experience. And we're just kind of beginning this ascension process and where we're going to end up with it. So they had mastered energy on all new levels. Right? Energy, everything's energy. So these pyramids in Atlantis and on the ley lines as in Giza, they were very powerful for free energy. We know that these are energy conductors. Those rocks, I already knew it. I was joking with everyone that I wanted to rock climb them. I want to be on top of Stonehenge. I would love to rock climb them and just sit up there, right? So we can't do that ever. But I did get close to it because Avesbury is very similar with those rocks, how they're set up. They're probably from the same time too. And I did climb up on the Avesbury stone circle, and when I was up there, I could already tell what I was seeing on camera, which was the energy's crazy on top of there. They remind me of a battery. And I've had dreams about energy conductors and this battery type things with space technology, so it makes sense to me, right? So they're some type of energy conductor. So at the top, it would be like generate a crazy energy, a ley line energy. So I did go up there and sat up there, and it was so insane. I'll probably try to do it again this time. I'm getting Francisco to do it. All right, a lot of Atlantis was built on Arturian information. Sirian information and Pleiadian information. How did they build Atlantis? They had mastered the body, self, were at high frequencies, and were able to channel the galactic. Like we said, Arturian, we'll start there real quick because I'm wasting time. We see a lot of Arturian channelings now. Why is that? Arturian is the easiest race to channel. So we see a lot of Arturian assistants on this planet because they can actually channel best to us in a lot of ways. They're very technologically advanced. Any of these galactic civilizations are. You wouldn't believe the technology that they have for healing and, you know, consciousness and things like that. It's mind-blowing to me. So we see a lot of Arturian influence in Atlantis. We see a lot of Sirian influence. If you look at the pyramids, they're built around, you know, certain astrological systems like Orion and things like that, Sirius. There was a lot of astrological understanding. I came to this life with a lot of astrological understanding. I couldn't really explain. Even when I was asleep, I was always looking at everyone's astrology. I had a really good understanding of who the people were coming to me and around me by their astrology sign and things like that. I could always kind of use astrology to navigate through my relationships, right? The matrix. So these were places that were built on a lot of astrological, astronomical, and galactic understanding. Good morning. Hi, John. We're talking about Atlantis a little bit today. I'm just saying hi to you guys. We're getting ready to do Stonehenge. I'm doing this past life regression stuff too when I get back, and I'm really, really excited about it. So if you guys did not see the pinned post, you guys, this is Francisco named it a premium area. These are premium areas, our 2 groups. See the pinned post and make your class donation when you guys can. It's for the whole year though. And I know I should have put it what it is in America. It's 33 pounds, which is $44 American, but this is an energy exchange too. So you guys will for sure get way more than $44 worth of knowledge just hanging out in these spaces. You'll get activated too. I only ever do these groups. Sometimes I feel like I'm herding sheep too, right? I'm trying to gather you guys in these group areas. The reason why is we're activators. We're galactic activators. So when we're interacting with you and hanging out with you and vibing with you, it's activating you. I had Francisco tell me some profound story about how he found my videos and they activated him and got him on his mission, right? Just watching my videos, never even talking to me till much later on. So it is a good way that I can reach many people at once to get activations out. Any video I do, they are encoded with galactic activations, so they will help you guys activate and get back that knowing and, you know, remembering yourself. I don't ever want to listen to other people talk about these places. I want to remember them. I want to go there myself. I don't want to listen to stories on YouTube and videos if you know me, right? I want to see these things. I want to, you know them to be true myself. I can't trust anything anyone's saying anymore. I don't know where these people are getting their videos from. They could be reading it on YouTube. It could just be channeled negative entities, right? There's such a flood of information now with this awakening in Google and YouTube. But how do I know where this information is coming from? So for me, I'm always the type that wants to meditate, download. Meditate, download, talk about the things that I know to be true, that I have a remembrance of or have experienced and been through. It's a much better way to reach people on so many levels. Yeah, so I'm manifesting students so I can pay my school bill. I'm manifesting students so I can pay my school bill so I can bring this back to do with us. And I think it's epic. The universe just kind of collided me where I'm supposed to be too. But it's good for you guys or I wouldn't be working today. It's good for you guys, or I would just take off the whole Mercury retrograde. Forget taking the week off work. I would take off till like the whole 28th, I think. Hi, Barb. I'm just sending you guys good vibes. You're not alone. You have an entire soul group. You guys don't realize you're my whole world at this point. You're my whole life and world at this point. I get up every day and I go do my mission, and it pertains all of you guys. And you guys, people don't realize that. Someone messaged me this morning like, please don't kick me off your friend list ever. My family is so toxic and sucks, and you guys are all I have, and we're aware of that. We're aware of that. So we are coming back into oneness, the light workers that are awakened. I always say I don't trust the people that aren't awake either. All right. I don't know everyone, right? I don't like to judge people. I feel like I'm judging people when I have to look at their friend request on my page. I don't like to try to judge people and their experiences, but for me, I gravitate towards the people that are awake. It demonstrates a certain level of mastery in your journey. It tells me you've been activated, your service of others, or about to be, right? And you're at a different place than the people that are still experiencing 3D consciousness. It's very important that we understand that, you know, the event, like I said, is happening all around us. It's happening all around us. It's been unfolding, right? You guys have probably already experienced it, to tell you the truth. And not everyone is at that level as a soul. That we chose to learn and grow with many souls around us, and not everyone is at that level. This is a planet that these people have been karmically entangled on the same loop, the same bad dream over and over again, life after life, from Atlantean times. And we came from these places that were so spiritually, technologically advanced, right? We're coming as souls that are coming from these places that were so spiritually advanced and technologically advanced. And, you know, this has been our fight the entire time, to try to uplift humanity, to try to bring this planet up to, you know, back up to higher dimensional levels, things like that. But not everyone is at the same place. So, you know, sometimes you feel like, I'm joking with my husband this morning, and he's a projector and he's on his mission, right? And so sometimes he goes around on these news posts and he'll try to talk to people, right? Try to talk to people. I said, the news isn't waking people up. That whatever's happening on this planet is not enough. Me and Francisco decided yesterday that it's not working, that these people just need something to shake them awake real fast. And that, you know, they're not really listening to us. Well, get ready. Get ready. Sorry, this planet's about to get shaken awake on all new levels. This is the alarm clock. Get ready for it. So we're going to go on a nice roller coaster ride. We're seeing the Earth is already starting with the tornadoes and twisters and crazy weather in a lot of places. Just being around the right energy will uplift you so fast. When you talk about monks, where did the monks get trained from? Atlantean masters. Let's look at the monks. Okay, so they would train with groups of people. They would, you know, they would have like a monastery, I assume. I don't know a lot about it, but they would learn in a group. Same with the old Reiki masters and people studying, you know, these energetic things. They would learn in groups. Look at Jesus, right? If he was real, they totally stole that from somewhere. Horus's disciples. No, so we can see that when you learn in a group, that you learn so much faster. You guys have been teaching me every single day from day one, learning around you guys. And when you're around the right people that are, you know, focused on the spiritual, talking about their experiences, learning together, we all just learn so much faster. It just creates such a good energy being around the right people. I feel like we have so many dead energy exchanges, right? The people come into my inbox and pouring all their problems out and wanting to pour all their stuff out on me, right? What is that? What do I get? I get a one-sided, where I'm taking on all this person's pain, negativity, all the bullshit in their life. What's in it for me? Probably nothing, right? It's probably I'm going to feel like shit after. I'm not going to want to check any messages. So as empaths and healers, we have a lot of people coming to us with these one-sided energy exchanges. These groups are a good way that we're just kind of, you know, vibing off each other and creating good energy that is being exchanged equally. One-sided exchanges leave us very drained, right? It's like a dead battery. I'm a manifesting generator. I can vibe off anyone, one person. I can just collide with you and vibe with you, right? And sometimes it's like I'm getting a dead battery back, I say. Right? We have a world full of depressed generators that are not generating good energy. They're just like, you know, with those low vibe kind of energies. Oh, guy is cutting cords. We're all cutting cords fast around here, right? We better be. This is our one shot and this is it. People don't realize that are like, I have people around us that clearly are faking their ascension or they won't get kicked out of our groups ever. We're not real selective. You're awake, perfect. Right? So, I don't know. You can see it, people are not doing what they need to do. You guys know what you need to do. If it's pharmaceuticals, drugs, shit relationships, you know, toxic family members, bad living situations, whatever it is blocking you from living your dream life, we got to get rid of the dead weight. So you guys know what to do. But if you're faking ascension, like my old friend Lionel, then, you know, he was still taking drugs and thinking that he could do this. He got kicked out of my movements. The universe did it. It wasn't me, right? It wasn't even me. So we've been saying level up or level out. So the thing is, if you're learning with a group, and the group is continually raising its vibration, hopefully. Hopefully we're going up in frequency every day. Not by ourselves, as a group. If you are in this group, and you're still taking drugs or drinking or doing whatever it is that's lowering your frequency, you're going to get kicked out. You're going to get cut. The universe will do it. It won't even be us doing it. So make sure that you're doing the inner work like everyone else is. We see people doing hella inner work around here, including myself, all over these walls, right? Vitamins, meditating, aura picks, doing what we should. You guys already know. You don't need anyone to tell you. You'll notice I'm only reminding you of shit you already know ever. Right? I'm only reminding you of shit you already know, whether you remember it or not. It's stuff we already know. Good, get rid of the friends. I got some new friends already. I just cleaned my friend page out. I got all new friends. I'm gonna do it again, I think. But, you know, I'm noticing these friends are getting better and better. As I'm becoming a better and better person, I'm getting better and better friends. So for sure, get rid of the old friends. Like, you know what is a good way to tell? I have people that hate my inbox, and I see it, right? I see the messages. I just don't check them. I see the messages. I choose who I respond to. So I see my messages. The people that I do not want to check that message, I'm like, oh God. Oh God, I don't want to check that. And I'm like avoiding it all day, right? Get rid of those people. Now, the people that text you or Facebook status you and you see their name and you get all like lit up and excited, right? Those are your tribe. Those are your friends, right? The people that like leave you a Facebook comment, you're like, oh God, yeah, okay. Get rid of those people. It's easy to tell. They were teaching the same thing I'm teaching in these places. It just seems like I'm doing it again on a fucking loop. It's deja vu. You feel deja vu around here? Like we've done this all before. Everything that we're trying to do. Deja vu. It should seem familiar. So I just feel like I'm living the same life. Now, not the whole cycle, but before. I'm living the same life, similar to those places, in a lot of ways. Awesome. I'm trying to think about it. I have so much shit on Atlantis. I'm going to start putting posts up today. It's hard for me to get on video and remember everything because I do channel when I'm live, but how I like to do it, to channel, is I like to download the information first, and then I go get on video and I channel. So sometimes I tend to forget a lot of stuff, right? But it helps me channel. Alright, we are purifying ourselves as channels. Alright. It doesn't matter what culture we're talking about. We're talking about purifying the mind, the body, and the soul to get mastery over it. We can look at those monks again and see they have some amazing superhuman kind of abilities that I've seen. Yeah. I've seen some crazy shit they can do. With knives and swords and not getting cut and not feeling pain and crazy kind of shit. Like, seriously. Deja vu, yep. This time it works. Yes. Any reptilian consciousness, I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. I can't today after the chat I had it, but I will do a video on it for this kid. But any reptilian consciousness type of life forms, and you have to see the good in all. Yeah, them too. You guys wouldn't be as spiritually evolved without these fucks torturing us. So give a shout out to the dark everyone cries about, right? The dark is serving the light too. They're contracted through the same council as we are to torture everyone. Yeah, we agreed. We signed up for it. We actually facilitated in those contracts and brought the negative here. So, you know, it all kind of comes back to us all the time. Alright, so those that are choosing to continue to try to influence through power and control are being removed from this planet. We've already been seeing it happen all around us. Don't worry. Everything is love and we don't die ever. We've died millions of times, like I said, right? These are just going to go somewhere else to learn. So things are slowly changing around here. And the ones that are service of self and are on a negative path are being removed around here. You should be feeling lighter and lighter, higher and higher vibe on this planet. But it's already been in progress for a while where we can see that happening. When I look at the celebrities and the politicians, I can tell which ones are bad because of the aging process. So we can see that if you are on a negative path, that you will rapid age and leave the experience rapidly. Humans were never designed to be dying at 70, 80 years old, actually. Right? I always would joke around and say I'm going to live 5,000 years this life, and everyone looks at me like I'm crazy, but I know it's possible. I know it's possible from Atlantean time. So, you know, we see a lot of people aging fast, the body breaking down and decomposing really, really rapidly. It was not like that in other times at all with the physical body. It needs a certain amount of life force energy, right? We need to have our chakras open and aligned and have our energy on point, but that can really, our awakening can really change the aging process in ways I doubt people can grasp. Okay, I'm getting off of here. I'm going to find some cards, right? And I'll be back. If you guys didn't pay your class, Bill, pay your pin post. Me and Francisco are going to Stonehenge, so, you know, we're doing our usual, doing our hella cash expenses at this point. So for sure, if you guys didn't pay your class fee, do that. I hired Francisco to teach with this group too, so we can get double content out. So that's epic to me, right? And then if you guys need us, you can come to these areas and find us easily, because otherwise we're off grid all the time, right? Unless you come to our group areas. So for sure, check out the pin post. It's a good time to sign up for, I'm doing Stonehenge activations, and they're pretty epic, the Stargate one I'm doing, but I added another activation I'm doing today that we'll put ads up for, and it is for when we go to the Avesbury Rock Circle. I like that one a lot better than Stonehenge, believe it or not. Yeah, I'm a medium, I'm into that stuff, right? So I really like that one a lot better, believe it or not. So it's amazing to connect with that ancestor energy. It's so powerful to me with my mission and what I'm doing here too. And there's such a connection. I told Sherry those ancestors know us. They know who we are too, which is kind of crazy. Okay, so we're going there, and I'm doing a activation there, and it's to connect to your ancestors, but not just your ancestors, the interdimensional. I'm a galactic channel, you guys know that. So you guys know I hold those codes to activate people, so it is a activation for the interdimensional, and it's also a third eye activation, so that you guys can be, it'll help you with your downloads, your channeling, connecting, seeing the interdimensional, and things like that. So I'm doing that activation too. For sure, go check out my special events area, and I'm getting off here to do a card feed too. Stay really high vibe. Sherry says she's been running around for like a week and she's feeling awesome. I've been laying around for like 4 days and feeling like crap till I got up and started moving around, right? It's not a good time to lay around, actually. It's a good time to be crushing your goals, getting work stuff done, grocery shopping, wrapping up old projects, getting ready for spring. We're going to have a very powerful manifesting healing energy to hit this planet. I thought I saw Jeffrey Kell on here, and our next full moon will be in Virgo. I'm looking forward to it, but you guys might start to get real analytical, worried about your finances, real life starts to hit, right? We're in this dream energy of Pisces, and everyone's in la-la land, including myself. Shit might seem real organized in a minute. But that is a powerful element for healing, for shifting to service of others, for getting on your mission, for wanting to help people, right? It's the ultimate healer energy. So it's going to be pretty amazing. I think that we can predict some green auroras too. You know how when we have, after the equinox, when we start to have the solar energy and they have auroras, we should see some amazing, crazy green auroras. And when I see those pictures, I'm always picturing the Earth's aura. They're like, auroras are like Earth's energy aura photos, like we take in our groups. So you can definitely expect a lot of green healing kind of energy, angelic energy to be sweeping the planet with this equinox. It's going to be really, really powerful. All right, love and light.